tires and light the fire.
Okay. I'd like to call this public hearing for the 2016-17 budget for the Columbia County Board of Commissioners and for Columbia County government, all told. This time, since we'll have an invocation covering 2 meetings, we'll ask our heavyweight vice chair, Mr. Trey Allen, to offer up our invocation.
Was that a shot?
You got to do one. You got to do one that lasts for 2 meetings.
Sure, that's what you meant. Okay.
Okay. Not too much banana pudding.
Yeah, would you please bow your heads? Dear Heavenly Father, we come before you this evening, grateful hearts, thankful for the many blessings you have bestowed upon us, thankful for this beautiful county that we live in, and this truly great nation that we are proud to be citizens and reside in. We ask that you watch over the proceedings this evening and that you give each of us the wisdom to serve your will in all the actions that we take and to serve the people of Columbia County. We ask these things in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Sir, would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, the republic, and one nation, God, visible, liberty, justice for all.
Do have a quorum with all 5 commissioners present. The agenda, I'm assuming, has not changed, Mr. Johnson?
Not to my knowledge, Mr. Chairman.
This is, I believe, Ms. Reese, the final meeting prior to the approval of the budget. That the
Correct.
process has been going on for, I don't know, 2.5, 3 months.
Yes.
So we'll go right into the proposed budget. Ms. Reese?
Okay, the first item is the budget summary for the general fund, which just shows where we started and where we are now. We started out with the original request with a deficit of about $627,000. That, however, did not include contingency, so it was really more like a $2 million deficit. We have since made quite a few cuts, and we have a balanced budget now with a contingency of $1,449,280, which is actually over our goal. Our goal is to have 2%, and it's at 2.24%.
Any questions of that summary?
No, sir.
The next item, just for information, that shows basically how we do some of our major projections in the general fund budget, is the 2016 tax digest projection. This typically makes up about 45% of the general fund budget. We are projecting right now, according to the tax assessor's office, about a 3% increase in the digest, not in the millage rate, but in the digest. So this shows the numbers that we developed to go into the budget based on that projection. We also use the same projection in determining the fire amount as we're working on that budget. The middle block, which is our debt service piece, we are still working on. We will be having millage rate hearings, possibly. We will be, at least, you will be establishing the millage rate this summer. So we still have a couple of months to work on that.
Questions?
No, sir.
The next item is information about our local option sales tax. This is the piece that goes into the general fund. It makes up about 25% of the overall general fund budget. And as you know from past management and internal service committee meetings, growth rate has not been that great in this area. So I actually put a little bit of a decrease in the general fund budget just based on historical collections.
Yeah, is that the first time we've done that?
Yes.
It is.
How much of a decrease?
It was more of a dollar amount. I based it on about $1.3 million a month, whereas we had been projecting 1.4 in the past. So, I mean, a good $1 million that I reduced it by.
Questions on the loss fund?
The next item is a summary of all of the proposed budgets by fund. You know, we have quite a few different funds that we do have to adopt annual budgets for. The general fund is increasing by 3.49%, and the overall budget with all funds included is increasing 2.53%.
Any questions about the summary of the budget?
You said you still have to work on the balancing the fire budget,
The fire budget is balanced, it's the debt service.
the debt service.
Yes, that we're still working on.
I will say, just as a point to the board, we've got the budget balance now, but we will continue working on the budget right up to the adoption. There are a couple of items that have come up recently that we will need to address with you, but to do that in a public forum, we'll make sure that we address those at the committee level next week, so we will be prepared for that before the final adoption of the budget, so we can make sure we do that publicly. But there are still a few very small items that we'll be addressing. All of those will count towards the contingency that we have, so we will still be well over our 2% goal of contingency, so anything that we make any changes there will come out of that difference between the 2% and the 2.4%.
Anything else other than the calendar? You can see there that we'll advertise the proposed budget on Friday, May the 6th. That's later on this week. And then adoption of the budget with all the corrections and everything done on June 7th. There's a couple of items that we might take a minute to discuss. We've noticed in looking at a lot of financial summaries that the personal income of people across the nation in almost all cases have not reached the 2007 levels prior to the recession. And it's a little bit disturbing that our tax digest is not stronger, because our growth continued on through the bad years, 8, 9, 10, 11,000 houses a year, population 2.5%, 3%. But the average price of the house, I believe, has declined. Is that not?
It has.
So I don't know where that will flip. Hopefully with the real estate market like it is today, it will start to climb back up. But it's kind of surprising to me that we can't depend on a larger increase in the digest than what's been projected. And of course, the projections are based on past experience, so it's not just a wild guess.
So we're selling more houses just at a lower price.
Yep. And the people, I mean, I guess it's all related in that you can get financing now better than you could for other expensive houses in the 2009 to 2012 or 13, and they are starting to sell, but the disposable income and the ability of majority of families to finance a higher-priced house has been, I guess, affected by their income not getting back to the 2007 level. And if it got back to 2007, you would think it would start, increasing again. So to me, it's kind of an anomaly in what we're looking at from what we've faced in a good many of the prior years. Any commissioner comments concerning the budget?
I'll just thank Scott again for all you did to dig out the details. You got a good budget. You need to watch the pennies, the dollars take care of themselves. Appreciate all you guys working with me.
As we do every year, sir, I'd like to commend the staff for the amazing job they've done, coming up with another good budget.
Okay, you're going through this first process. There's a lot to it, and commissioners are saying a lot of work. I want to thank all the department heads that been there and have what they feel like they need, but like we couldn't get there, they were coming up and slicing and dicing. I really appreciate that. Everybody worked hard to get.
Comments, Bill?
Well, just, I think we concentrated on service delivery. We just want to make sure that our constituents are served by our departments. Some of the cutbacks and things that we're just required to do, that was always in our forefront of our mind, is making sure we're providing the quality of life and the services to citizens. Like Gary said, I'm just proud of our directors and Scott and what they did and how cooperative they worked together. Everybody didn't get everything they wanted, but at the end of the day, we've got a good budget staff, and appreciate all that y'all do.
And I would like to add that the budget's not only composed of the people sitting here. I'd like to express my appreciation to the constitutional officers. I believe the only one here is Jason Troiano from the magistrate office, but I think we do have a Superior Court rep, but the Sheriff's Department always cooperative, but makes up a large portion of the budget. Not half, but I guess in employee-wise, he's almost half. And so he's been very conscious of the budget realities and in deputies and in new equipment and new patrol cars. And again, thanks to Leanne for the management of the fleet service. It takes care of a lot of that each year with the lease program and other aspects. So it's a team effort, but we're here now for the purpose of this entire meeting. This is the time for anyone in the public to come up and ask any questions about the budget, make any comments, or make any suggestions. I don't see a lot of non-staff public, but maybe,
Greg?
maybe one or two.
Schooled too much by Doug's maternal granddad, Frank E. Clark Jr., but I guess I'm really looking at efficiency and where money goes and stuff like that.
Give us your name and address.
Oh,
before-
yeah, Craig Spinks, 5092 Bryant Cove Drive.
Thank you.
You're welcome. But I was looking through the stuff online today that we talk about a general fund budget of $68 million. Isn't that right? And I was reading the article
66, correct.
that, aren't you Mr. Highfield? Mr. Highfield had an article in the paper today about a total budgets covering $209 million. What are the others?
Scott, you want to do that one, or Leanne?
I can. We can tag team that, but we have several enterprise funds that make up individual parts of that budget. So you have the general fund that's standalone. Water and utility has its own fund. We have several other special revenue funds. And then when we account for that every year, we account for all the SPLOST dollars that are coming in. All those budgets should be online. Are they not? They are. Okay. I thought they would be online. So you can go through each one of those proposed budgets and look at the totality of them.
Okay, each
They
one.
don't change a lot year to year, though, Craig. It's basically, you know,
And let me ask you something else about road maintenance. How much are we spending on road maintenance?
Well, $1 million of LMIG, and I don't know what,
Yeah, out of the general fund, there's a little over $2 million, that's for pothole repair. We spend about 1.3 million on resurfacing a year. And then our T-SPLOST money, we're gonna spend in the next 4 years, 120 million. Then we've got, some tip money, which is money we get out from the federal government through MPO. That number's probably, what, 75 million we have on the books right now, Steve, somewhere in that area.
You know, I was talking with Russell a little while ago, and we've got plans, but it's, don't tell me what you're gonna do, show me what you've done. But we've got some roads here in our county that are in really bad shape, starting with the one right out there. And they're rough. And you go into some of these subdivisions, and they get real rough, real fast. And I'm just thinking,
We're spending, in total road projects, we looked at this recently, in the next 7 years, we're gonna spend over $200 million in road improvements, or in transportation money in Columbia County. That's a ton of money
You-
in a 7-year period.
Well, how much on maintenance? So see, that's what I'm
Well,
wondering.
even just in maintenance, what Matt was just bringing out, if you just look at what general fund is and what you take from LMIG money, it's $3 or $4 million a year in just repairing potholes and doing little overlay projects.
Ronald Reagan's actually was awarded to contract at the last commission meeting to have it redone.
Yeah, and because like I say, it's going back to Champions Retreat, that Riverwood Drive is rough. I mean, there's some places here that, we want our county to look nice. We want it to be first class, and we can't go talking first class if we don't back it up. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other citizen comments? Any staff comments? Nobody's going to say, I didn't get enough money in my department?
No, sir.
Anybody want to say, I got too much money in mine?
No, sir. Mr. Chairman, I will say, and I appreciate the comments from the commission, but just to kind of summarize this, as I talk to my colleagues around the state, and county managers, administrators that are required by law to submit balanced budgets to their commissions, it's always a pretty difficult task for them to do. Our team here is really second to none, and I can tell you, you've all made comments about it, but how hard our division directors work, our elected officials, and how well everybody worked together is an anomaly. This does not happen in other places around the state. We were at a conference recently, and I was in a class yesterday. Commissioner Duncan was there. Commissioner Richardson was in that class, and just some of your classmates in that class, some of the things we were talking about we did in Columbia County, they have no clue of how we did it, and a lot of it had to do with the way we budget and the way we do things. So we are very fortunate, and it all has to do with the staff that you have in place. The folks that are here that are willing to make the sacrifices, willing to work together, and really just for the betterment of Columbia County. And we might not always get every single little project we want. We might not get every road we want to get in every single year, but we have a plan, and I think that's made Columbia County very, very successful in the past. So my hat's off to everybody that played a part in that budget this year.
And you did touch on it briefly, but it is a balanced budget with no property tax increase.
That is correct. That was my marching order, so that's what I tried to deliver.
And we'll finalize, I believe, tonight, our service delivery agreements with both Grovetown and Harlem,
That is correct.
which, shows the cooperative spirit that's within the county. Any other comments from the commissioner?
Just to piggyback on what Scott just said, I did thank the staff for their great work again, but you did mention, and I forgot to mention, we are very lucky. Our constitutional officers, all the elected officials in our county work together for the benefit of the citizens, and it has been my experience that it's not
Doesn't happen that way
the
everywhere.
standard case, unfortunately, throughout most jurisdictions. So also the constitutional officers and all those other elected officials, we greatly appreciate them working together.
Well, Mr. Johnson talked about the school, that one of the first classes I took, guy gets up and his opening statement was that the only reason I got elected is that I'm going to fire the sheriff and fire the county administrator. And he was very disappointed when he found out he really didn't have the authority to do that. There's no other business to be taken up. We'll accept a motion to adjourn this budget hearing, public budget hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? We are adjourned, and of course, the commission meeting in 12 minutes, 6 o'clock.
So,
I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Columbia County Board of Commissioners for this Tuesday afternoon, May the 3rd, 2016. We have had our invocation and pledge at a previous meeting. We do still have the same 5 commissioners here as a forum. Our first order of business is approval of the minutes of our meeting of April the 19th. If you're satisfied with their content, we'll accept a motion for their approval or for their correction.
So moved.
Second.
Motion for approval and a second. Any comments? All in favor, please raise your right hand. Mr. Johnson, I believe we got a little bit of clarification on our agenda.
Dear Mr. Chairman, for your consideration, item H1A, the CVB contract renewal, we've asked that be moved to debate for some changes that have been made in that. We moved to I2A1. Then some items added at the meeting tonight. One concerning the Development Advisory Committee would be I2E1, changing our meeting time to work around another meeting for our next committee meeting on May the 10th would be I2E2, and then a proclamation added for EMS week would be I2E3. I believe that's all I have.
Got all that.
Everyone follow that? So we'll proceed with our agenda as corrected. Again, I'd like to welcome you to this meeting of the commission. Remind you once again that these proceedings are videotaped. You may obtain a copy of the disc by making application to the county clerk. They'll also be posted on the county website. And I believe we've been making an effort to make those easier to find. We've had some complaints that people couldn't find them on the regular county page. And remind you, too, that you're invited to speak to this body if you're not already on the agenda. We do ask that you fill out a speaker form at the rear of the room and bring it up to Ms. Crawley here, and we'll recognize you at the proper time during the meeting. Under our special recognition, at this time of year, to remind you that advanced voting did start yesterday. Be sure and take advantage of that because it is the simplest way to vote. And in speaking of elections, I believe we have Ms. Lori Greenhill here with us tonight, a candidate for a representative position in the state legislature. Do we have any other people running for office with us today? Okay. Under our presentations, I think our first one is concerning an item that may or may not be delayed, but an applicant for 7104 Evans Town Center Boulevard, Mr. Bo Brandenburg. Please give us your name and address in the beginning, Bo.
Sure. It's Bo Brandenburg, 909 Miriam Trail. It's Evans. Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. Good to see you.
I'll make this brief because Matt is, it's his 13th anniversary, if y'all didn't know that, and he's ready to get home.
Well, he may not be, I don't know.
I don't know that I said that.
I'm here to, first of all, I've really enjoyed and want to applaud Andrew Strickland and his team for the planning and zoning process, and I just want to applaud them and appreciate their work and on this issue. And really tonight, I just want to formally ask that we push the vote back on this matter for approval of this rezoning and the variances that go along with it to the June meeting. I'm really just asking out of goodwill and in cooperation with the current homeowners association, actually Property Owners Association of Northwood. They have, after talking with them and their attorney and representation of their board, though they were originally adamantly opposing any type of rezoning, we've gotten into some really good discussion about removing that particular property from the Property Owners Association. They really just asked me out of goodwill if we could push back a vote while we work together to resolve an issue that we feel is, and as well as the Planning Commission really felt that was in the best interest of the Evans Town Center area and myself as well as the neighborhood. So that's what we're really asking, is to give us time to really get together on common ground and figure out a way to remove that property from the covenants of that homeowners association. We're meeting again this week to discuss those issues. And, it's important to me as a business owner, as a community resident, and somebody that's going to be in this community for a long time, not to really put up a wall and force that rezoning and really, only have one side. I want to work with them and come to a solution, come to, some common ground and have resolved. And I just want to oblige their request and ask y'all for an extended amount of time for us to work together on that issue.
What would you like the delay to be? 2 weeks more? For?
My discussion previously with some of the staff and a recommendation from Matt and a couple others is the June 7th meeting.
All right.
Let me ask you a question, if you don't mind, while you're here.
Sure.
Best I can understand about this is that if this is rezoned, you have to have the consent of the homeowners who remove it from their covenants, because it is tied up in their covenants.
It would be a direct violation of the covenants if it remains in the neighborhood.
So you're asking to go from, I guess that's R1
R1 to
to P1, and you wind up with a P1 building that you can't use. You can't live in it, and you can't use it for an office. That's really what you want to try?
I've got a lot of faith in the folks I'm working with, and I'm kind of an eternal optimist, and I feel like this is going to work out. And I feel like it's a risk that I'm willing to take, and I feel like the communication's there, and the ability to resolve the issue is there. And in addition to that, I'm also I have that building under contract. There's some things there. It's not purchased yet, and there's some. I have a little bit of time, and the current owners, Ms. Johnson, is actually has moved from that property and is in Washington Commons, and
Yeah.
working with them, I've got a little bit of leeway there. So I do not own the property. It is under contract, and this what I'm asking is going to help that situation. In addition,
Well, I agree. The concern of the board, in my discussions, or at least in a lot of mine, is your business would probably be fine there. But there are certain things, if it should change ownership, that would not really be applicable for that location. And I think that's got to be a concern of the board when we discuss it.
Sure.
And I don't know, I guess the only way to get around that is do it under a special zoning and have it come back to the board if it changes. I don't even know that that's an option. But that is a concern, that if you decide you need a real nice 5-story, 30,000 square foot building in the town center, that you'd be wanting to sell that property.
Right.
So that is something I think that we have to air out before the final decision's made.
Absolutely. My plan is to have a State Farm office there for the next 25 to 30 years. That is my plan. I understand when you own a piece of property, that plan does change sometimes, but
Yeah.
that is my absolute plan.
Any questions of Mr. Brandenburg? Thank you for coming before us. And we'll take that item up just a little bit later in the meeting. We go now to our consent agenda. These are items that's been through the proper committee, received the necessary 3 votes to be placed on consent, except for that one change. If you're so inclined, we'll approve all of these items as one vote.
So moved.
Second.
Any items need any further discussion? All in favor, please raise your right hand.
If I could, Mr. Chairman, I think I mentioned to you statements by some of the constituents about referring to the Cultural Arts Center as just a Cultural Arts Center, that there will be a museum component. I wanted that to be publicly stated. Also will include Arts Center.
Yes, we discussed that with the architect this past week.
Thank you.
And those drawings should be changed, but they were supposed to be changed for the meeting before last, so.
The
motion and a
space
second.
is on the drawing, it's just a matter of notating what it is, so we've got that fixed.
Okay.
Other discussion? A motion and a second, all in favor? There is one thing I better back up and make sure. I was told that Mr. Andy Rotenstreich was not going to appear tonight. Was that officially the case?
That's my understanding, I don't believe he's here.
Okay, well, we'll go ahead then.
That's a good sign.
Yeah, if it doesn't show up, that's pretty good evidence. We go now to our debate agenda. I believe we're going to start Commissioner Allen with some streetlights.
No, sir, I believe that is,
I'll take it. Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the second and final reading of the following streetlight district resolutions: 16-1220 SLD 454E, Clarion Bridge 1, 16-221 SLD 454F, Hartstown 1, 16-1222 SLD 514, Whispering Pines, page A, section 1, and 16-1223 SLD 429C, Indian Springs, section 3, page 2E.
Motion and a second. Any discussion of this item? All in favor, please raise your right hand. And I think we go now to Commissioner Richardson, but I'm not positive. Okay.
Here, I'll make a motion to approve the Columbia County Convention and Visitors Bureau Agreement for 1 year beginning July 1st, 2016, and expiring June 30th, 2017.
Does this motion mean that Mr. Duto has a job for another year?
Don't let him hang for another
Well, we
year.
would
If
commit
his
to that, would-
board
maybe,
keeps him, yes, sir.
if his board decides.
Hang is a rough word.
Okay.
Where'd Randy go? I mean,
Further
there he is.
discussion.
Okay, yeah, I believe you're okay, Randy.
All right.
With a job, happy birthday.
Well, y'all want to discuss this for a little while and hold things up?
I think he's
All in favor, please raise your right hand. Okay. Commissioner Duncan.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the service agreement in the amount of $2,000 with Golden Harvest Food Bank to be paid out of the Commissioner's discretionary funds for the fiscal year 2016.
second.
Discussion? All in favor, please raise your right hand.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve a resolution to renew the services delivery strategy for Columbia County and the cities of Grovetown and Harlem, and to authorize the chairman to execute a Georgia Department of Community Affairs Form 4 certifications and any other documentation that may be required for the renewal of the Columbia County Services Delivery Strategy.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? I would like to express a word of appreciation to our county administrator, Mr. Johnson, for going into the lion's den of greater downtown Grovetown and working out several problems, not with the new mayor, but some things that was lingering, I think, from previous administrations that I've heard and believe that he did an excellent job in presenting that and winning them over to get I believe, a unanimous vote to approve this. So my compliments to you.
Thanks, sir.
Allen?
Yes, sir. I would like to make a motion to approve the request to rezone 600 Stevens Creek Road from S1, R2, and M2 to S1, subject to the conditions enumerated in the April 21st, 2016 Planning Commission report.
Second.
And I believe this is allowing the church there to clear up some property that's not properly zoned.
As long as Jerry Ashmore's not involved, I'm good with it.
Uh-oh, is he involved?
Oh, should I have said that? Yeah, there he is.
Well, it may be a little late, I don't know.
Yeah.
Uh,
All in favor?
I would like to make a motion to table the request to rezone 7104 Evanstown Center Boulevard from R2 to P1 to the June 7th, 2016 meeting.
Second.
Motion and a second, and you've heard the request of the applicant. All in favor?
I make a motion to table the request for a variance to Section 90-98, List of Lot and Structure Requirements, to increase the maximum building setback to 95 feet and reduce the side buffer to vary from 5 feet to 2 feet, dependent on site conditions, for 7104 Evanstown Center Boulevard to the June 7th, 2016 meeting.
Second.
And of course, this pertains to the earlier motion, but I believe this was to allow some fencing between this P1 and the adjacent residential section, which will be taken up again later. All in favor, please raise your right hand.
I would like to make a motion to approve the request to rezone 10,000 square feet or a 0.23 acre portion of 6664 Wrightsboro Road from RA to S1 with a conditional use for a wireless telecommunications tower for a 10,000 square foot or 0.23 acre portion of said property.
Second.
Any discussion of this item? All in favor?
I would also like to make a motion to allow applicant to withdraw without prejudice the variance request at 6664 Wrightsboro Road.
Second.
I believe the applicant has indicated they can live with 150 feet
That's correct.
tall.
That's correct, I believe so.
All in favor, please raise your right hand.
I would like to make a motion to table the request to rezone 10,000 square foot or 0.23 acre portion of 5114 Riverwood Parkway from RA to S1 with a conditional use for a wireless telecommunications tower to the May 17th, 2016 meeting.
I'll second.
Tower number 2.
Also, this is concerning a cell tower adjacent to some of the Greenbrier schools.
That is correct. To give an opportunity, I believe Commissioner Richardson's been working with the residents there, and also we've been working with the attorney there to try to work out a few issues before this comes back.
You gonna be able to do it?
I don't know
Okay.
about that, but we're gonna let them talk, so, but I appreciate y'all's consideration.
All in favor?
I would like to make a motion to approve the request for variances to Section 90-98, List of Lot and Structure Requirements, and 90-140 Landscaping for one parcel, currently zoned M1 to reduce the front setback and waive the parking lot landscaping requirements located at 4144 Wheeler Road, subject to the conditions enumerated in the April 21st, 2016 Planning Commission report.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
I make a motion to approve the request for a variance to Section 90-53 List of Lot and Structure Requirements to reduce the setback to 60 feet from the center line of Evans to Locks Road located at 584 Hunterdale Road.
Second.
This is an item where a garage was built a little bit over the line, and to correct this, to allow the sale of the property. All in favor?
I would like to make a motion to approve the request to waive the fee for the variance application due to the applicant having proper permits and inspection by the county.
Second.
Again, this is one that was properly permitted and inspected, but this condition was not known until the latest survey attempt. All in favor, please raise your right hand.
I make a motion to approve the request for a variance to Section 90-134 Savannah River Corridor Buffer for one parcel currently zoned R1 to reconstruct his house within the buffer located at 921 Point Comfort Road.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
I make a motion to approve the speed humps on Rockford Drive.
Second.
One of our less technical.
Wordy.
This is the same project that we had problem with the traffic count. And we've decided, or maybe, apparently we've decided that 250 car minimum was not the right standard.
In this particular case, Mr. Chairman, I believe it's just a situation that we're going to have to take on a case-by-case basis. And in this case, you had several residents that came out in favor of this and spoke to the committee level, and the commission at that time, or the committee at that time, made a recommendation that they were inclined to approve. So the staff is working towards this. I would add that if the commission votes to approve this tonight, that obviously they will be placed according to the rest of the policy, as you know, we have a policy about how they're spaced and how they're placed. It'll also be done as funding is available, and that's not some bureaucratic term to say we're never going to do it. If this board decides to do it, we're going to do it, but I don't want anybody to get the indication that we're going to be out there tomorrow installing speed humps. So we are constrained by the budget as speed humps are concerned, but should you approve them, they will be installed.
Further discussion? Yes, sir.
And having ridden that road myself, I think it's a unique situation. Had other requests that didn't make the threshold. This is a very hilly, windy road, what I call a cut-through or pass-through road. Traffic that can flow, but don't even live there, which I think adds another aspect of this, where The others were dead-end roads, leveled and straight. In this case, geography, lay of the land, the sight
Geometry.
distance. Those, I couldn't, there's deputies here, I couldn't keep it below 25, just coasting down the hill, so. Anyway, I appreciate the consideration. I think Ms. Perez is here. I applaud you for all the work you went to and got those signatures.
I didn't know your mule would go that fast.
It's a goat, dude.
He's got a mule, too.
Donkey,
Sorry.
American mammoth.
I would seriously like to ask, what iteration of speed bumps are we in at this point? Are we pouring
It's,
a swell? Do we have a manufactured? What are we doing?
it's called a speed table. So we have a form that we go out there, so it's a ramp, a level spot, and a ramp back down. So it allows you to, the design is so you can traverse it at 20, 25 miles an hour without damaging your car.
Okay.
Go faster than that and you get to
It's
enjoy your
designed,
ride.
if you're fast enough on the up ramp, you can jump the rest of it. Okay, enough of that. All in favor, please raise your right hand. I would like to compliment the lady in the back for her presentation to committee. Very factual, very fair and open, very well expressed. Alan?
Yes, sir. I would like to make a motion to approve the resolution 16-1233.
Second.
Mr. Johnson, give us a little background on this item.
What it was.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, this is an item that's been brought to the attention of the staff. It's been discussed a little bit with the commission as it relates to our current Development Advisory Board. I believe if you go back in history and you look at the old Construction Advisory Board, that by ordinance, they had certain responsibilities, and some of those, well, specifically the responsibility they had was to serve as a sounding board for residents or for people that were having problems with contractors in the county. We are still experiencing some of those problems today. If somebody has a issue with their house, that they need some way to be able to resolve that through the county. And typically, they'll bring that to the staff level. We'll talk to the developer, to the builder, and they'll either comply or not comply, and we say it's a civil matter. What we found is that our ordinance actually calls for our Construction Advisory Board to be the sounding board for those residents and actually be able to hear those types of cases and then make recommendations to the Board of Commissioners, and there may be some sanctions to the builders should they not comply or should they get too far out of what they're supposed to be doing as far as the construction is done. So I feel like our Development Advisory Board has gotten really, really far away from that. So this is a move to rename that board back to what it was originally, and also to redefine their duties back to what they were originally. We're not coming up with anything new, but I don't think we need the additional duties that they may have been doing over the years, whether recently or not so recently. I think there's been a lot of confusion as to what their responsibilities were.
So they were supposed to be pretty much a self-policing group, and the function had gotten a little bit awry over the development of the Development Advisory Board.
It actually became more of a lobbying group or an advocacy group for developers and builders, and I don't think that was the original intent of the ordinance. So the recommendation is to take it back to its original intent.
Okay. Further discussion, comments? All in favor? Okay. Mr. Duncan?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to change the Management and Internal Services Committee and Development and Engineering Services Committee time on May 10th, 2016 to 10 a.m.
Second.
And this is to allow whoever desires to attend the post-legislative breakfast put on by the Chamber of Commerce. Sir. All in favor? Mr. Richardson?
I make a motion to proclaim the week of May 15th EMS Week in Columbia County.
Second.
Questions? All in favor?
Where is Ms. Tucker?
I take back my vote.
This was done upon a request of the new EMS director at Doctors Hospital, Mr. Greg Brooks. that'll be having a 2-day seminar over there on emergency management, and asked us to, or they asked me to attend the luncheon and to present the proclamation. I appreciate your action on that, because I think it's a good event, and I'm sure Ms. Tucker will be there also. Do we have any legal matters for discussion?
Unless you want to, unless you want to talk about the executive session.
Well, let's go ahead with that. Commissioner Duncan has a motion, and then if there's any questions, we'll allow you to elaborate on it.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve a settlement agreement with Lloyd O. Cook.
And you can explain, but I believe the best I can figure out of this is this was county action against some firing of weapons in part of the county.
We have a range on Newmantown Road that has a number of citizens unhappy about the noise. The property is owned by somewhere around 12 to 14 individuals. One of the individuals settling and saying that he will no longer shoot on the property.
Allowing him to bail out from the rest, right?
That's right. So he can get out of this litigation that the county has brought. Still has, he's on the hook for some of the problems they have on the property for structures that were not built properly.
Other questions or comments? All in favor? Okay. Gentlemen, have I missed anything on this agenda while I'm going back to it?
Got it all, Mr.
Did we have any request to speak that I'm not aware of, Miss? No request? Is there any other business to be conducted at this meeting? If not, we'll figure out a way to end this meeting.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion we end this meeting.
I will second that.
Is there any discussion of that motion? All in favor? We are adjourned.